So, first part is to check the documentation, see that there are photographs of the sherds before we start. Did that. Reassemble the sherds we have and go over them 7 or 8 times to see that you've got all the joints that are possible. Make a decision about the rim shape, that is, upturn the pot, this rim here on a card with circles drawn on it, and try and arrive at what the shape of the top is. Assemble all the sherds you have, reinforce them where necessary by whatever means. I used epoxy paste. Decide how you're going to fill in the missing pieces, and it seemed to me that we were going to use an enormous amount of plaster by doing it the traditional way of putting the plaster on this thick and then cutting it down and arguing about the shape. So I decided to go for a framework, a spider's web of epoxy bars paste that are actually inside the plaster, and then plaster over that. Check the shape again, and indeed, as in this case, we found it was slightly oval. Alter the pot where we can, that is, lean pieces in or out. Do that. Cut the plaster down, make sure it all looks the right sort of shape, and paint it in a manner where that at 3-4 feet it should be easily detectable to members of the public that this really is something different from the pot sherds. But at somewhere around 15-16 feet, casually walking through the gallery, it all blends together. And make sure it's documented, of course. A difficult part, but a fascinating part, because the pot told its own story. And I think I've mentioned about the hand being used inside, and the ball of the hand into the pot, and the fingers at the same stage. So the pot goes in and out in thicknesses, which is not the mark of a great potter, but perhaps somebody getting on in years or being in a terrible hurry to produce a pot. So that is all fascinating for me personally. And the problems that arose because of the different burial conditions, storage conditions, or whatever of individual sherds. Also the challenge because we've only small pieces bridging down and really coming to a finite conclusion of what the pot may have been. So for me it was a difficult part, but that's the fun of it, to see if you can end up with something that really tells the story and takes the sherds from a group of pot sherds, which you could put in a showcase, up to a pot like this, where members of the public and other interested people can come in and say, wow, that's the sort of pottery they used, and that's how they decorated, and that's what it looked like. So there's a big ethical challenge. You have to be really honest, I think.